Hello, today I'll be talking about the game Spectre. This came out in 2022. I just got it recently. I saw it on sale on Amazon for like $6. So before that, really didn't have much interest in it, but for $6 I figured worth a shot. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to set up and play, and then, tell you a little bit what I think about it at the end. So let's get started with how to set up. First thing you'll do is place the game board in the center of the table. Next, each player will choose a villain board. We've got Raul Silva, Ernest Stavro Blofeld, Rosa Klebb, Aristotle Christatos, and Emilio Largo. So each player, now this is only a 4-player game, comes with 5 villains, but it's only a 4-player game. I'm going to set up for 3 players. So we'll just say I'm going to take Blofeld, Silva, and Rosa Klebb. Each player will choose a color, and they will take the villain pawn. The villain pawn has the round base. They will take a henchman pawn, which looks just like the villain pawn, but it has a square base. You'll take your 20 agent tokens in your color, and 1 Spectre track marker in your color. There's a 007 token, which you'll just place somewhere near the board. Take your secret plan deck, shuffle it, and deal 1 secret plan to each player, and then you'll just place the deck on this space. So I've dealt 1 secret plan to each player. The players can look at their own secret plan, but they'll want to keep that unrevealed to the other players. Now, I will mention that the Raul Silva player, he only starts with 10 agent tokens, and that's specified here. You start the game with 10 agents. And along those same lines, if a player is playing the Rosa Klebb, you'll see that says they start the game with 2 secret plans. So Rosa Klebb actually gets dealt an extra secret plan. You'll place the gold tokens in this section of the board. You'll place the intel tokens on this section of the board. And finally, you'll place the blueprint tokens on this section of the board. Each player will then roll the bond dice, and the player who gets the highest total will get the number 1 plaque. So this plaque here that says number 1. But in fact, if you're playing with Blofeld, you start as number 1. So he doesn't have to roll to see if he starts as number 1. He just starts the game as number 1, so the other players will roll to see if they're 2, 3, or 4, or in a 3-player game like I'm setting up, to see if they're number 2 or 3. So we'll have the green player roll. If you get this gun barrel symbol, that counts as a 0, so this player, green, got a 4. Now we'll roll for red. Got a 3, so green will be number 2. They'll take this plaque and put it in front of them. You'll see it says number 2 and has an ability. And our red player will end up being number 3. They'll take that plaque, and since we're not playing 4 players, we won't have a number 4. Players will then take their Spectre track markers and put them on the Spectre track in the order of their number. So the number 1 will place theirs on top, number 2 will place theirs in the middle, and number 3 will place theirs on the bottom. And they go here on the start space of the Spectre track. Players then take the scheme tokens and put 1 on each scheme on their board. So that this one, and this one, even though it looks like it has 2, it only takes 1 scheme token because there's only 1 cost here. So we'll do that for each player. Some of them, they're like Blofeld here only has 3, whereas Rosa Klebb here has 4. So let me get that done. Alright, so I've got the scheme tokens on top of the schemes on the villain boards. Next, you'll take your mission deck. You'll find the one that says On Her Majesty's Secret Service and just set that aside. Then you'll go ahead and shuffle the mission deck. You'll then draw 6 cards from your shuffled mission deck. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You'll just discard the rest of the mission cards. Then the rules say to reshuffle the 6 cards that you just drew. I'm not really sure of the point of that. And then finally you put the card you set on aside, On Her Majesty's Secret Service, on top. So that will always be your first mission. I don't think it's mentioned in the rules, but you'll also have these 7 majority tokens, which you'll just set somewhere near the board. And with that, you have completed setup. And now we'll get ready to go over how to play. Alright, so how do we play? Well, the first thing that happens, you'll see there's a little turn sequence thing. The first thing it says is number 1 draws a mission card and reads it out loud. There's really not much to read actually on these mission cards. But as we said, the On Her Majesty's Secret Service is always the first mission card. This one just says brainwash spa patients to spread neurotoxin. And it will give you an objective and a little bid section here. Tells you what resources, when we get to the mission resolution phase, what resources can be bid, and we'll talk about all that later. And then this down here is what happens if the players fail the mission. Now the objective here for this mission is kind of different than it is for all the other missions. This one just means you can have agents in any of the regions on the board. So you'll see we've got Cape Canaveral, Crab Key, Amazonian Launch Complex, River Nile, the Klongs, I guess, I'm not really sure, Volcano Lair, and Archangel Facility. They're kind of different regions of the world. But so this objective is the players just have to have agents in any regions. Some missions will specify a region that you need to be in, like this one. So for the players to be able to complete this mission, there will have to be agents in this region 3. Some missions might have an objective that shows this circle, which means one of the players must put their villain pawn on that mission card. And some missions may not have any objective section at all. They'll just have where players will have to bid on it to complete it. But for the first mission of every game, players, to complete that objective, just have to have agents in some region on the board. And we'll talk more about bidding later when we talk about resolving these missions. But the first thing that happens is the player that's number 1 draws a mission card and reads it out loud, and players can see what the objectives are. All right, next, as you can see here, in order, 1, 2, 3, or 4, if you're playing with 4 players, each player places their villain pawn. Remember, their villain pawn is the one with the circle. So let's talk about the different areas where you can place your villain pawn. You can place it in the different regions. You see, this has a circle and a square. That means you can place either your villain or your henchman there. And that's the same for every one of these regions on the board. So if a player places their villain here at Cape Canaveral, they get to place one of their agents in this region. That's what this symbol means. You get to place an agent in region 2. Then you also get the bonus here of gaining 2 blueprints. So you get to take 2 blueprints and put it in your area. All right. This is if you place a villain or a henchman in these regions, you get to do this. So again, if you place your villain or henchman in this region, again, villains are being placed first. But I just wanted to mention that villain or henchman placed here gets these same bonuses. So if you place your villain here, you get to place an agent in region 3. like so. And then you get to place an additional agent in either Region 3, Region 7, or Region 8. All right, if you place your villain in Region 4, you get to place an agent in Region 4, and then you can pay any one resource, gold, intel, or blueprint, to move up one space on the SPECTRE track. If you place your villain in the River Nile region, Region 5, you get to place one agent there as shown here, and then you get to take 2 gold tokens. If you place your villain or henchman in the Klongs, you get to place one of your agents in the Klongs region, and then you get to place an additional agent in either Region 2, Region 3, or Region 4. If you place your villain or henchman in the Volcano Lair, you get to place one of your agents there, and then you get to place an additional agent in Region 4, 6, or 7. And finally, if you place your villain in the Archangel Facility, Region 8, again, you get to place one of your agents there, and you get to take 2 intel tokens. Now, besides the board spaces, the regions on the board, players can place villains or henchmen on spaces on their player board. So each player has a unique ability here. Like for instance, Blofeld has, you can see it's got a circle or a square, so when placing a villain or placing a henchman, he can place it on this ability. And it's called Racket. Every other player gives you 1 resource of their choice. And then every player also has this Finalize ability where you can place your villain and henchman, and you can spend resource to unlock schemes, which are other abilities you can take. So for instance, if you put your villain here, you would need to spend 1 gold, 2 intel, and 1 blueprint. Then you can remove this scheme token. You want to keep it because you can use those for other, and then that unlocks this ongoing ability. When placing your villain pawn, also place your henchman pawn. So normally players will in order each place their villain pawn, and then in order each place their henchman pawn. But if Blofeld has this ability unlocked, he gets to place his, whenever he places his villain pawn, then he also gets to place his henchman pawn immediately right after that. If he unlocked this ability for 2 gold, 2 intel, then he has this ongoing ability, advance 1 additional space on the SPECTRE track when winning a mission. We'll talk more about winning a mission later. And then if he unlocks this, you'll see he's got a place where if he can place either a villain here or a henchman here. You couldn't place a henchman here or a villain here. And if he places his villain here, he can deploy 2 agents in a single region. Or if he placed his henchman here, he can remove all enemy agents from a region where he has agents. So again, each villain has their own unique schemes that they can unlock with the Finalize ability by paying the resources. Some of them, like this one, give you an extra space where you can place your villain or henchman or both, like this one. Some are an instant one-time effect. If it's got this lightning bolt, whenever this one's unlocked, then Rosa Klebb gets this 1 instant effect. Reveal 2 secret plans of each other player. And then that's just a one-time ability. And then some give you an ongoing ability like this one. Deploy 1 agent in Region 8 at the beginning of each game round. So again, these are unique for each villain. So going back to the turn sequence, after the mission card is revealed, then in turn order, players will place their villain pawns. So Blofeld's number 1, maybe he decides to go here, place his villain pawn here. He can also place 1 agent in that region, and then he gets to gain 2 blueprints and put them in his play area. Now whoever number 2 is, which currently is Rosa Klebb, they get to then place their villain pawn. So maybe she places her villain pawn here at the River Nile. She gets to place 1 of her agents, and then she collects 2 gold tokens and puts that in her play area. And then whoever is number 3 gets to place their villain pawn. And so, maybe he places his in the volcano lair. He gets to place one agent as seen here, and then he gets to place another agent in either 4, 6, or 7. So we'll just say maybe he places that one in 7 as well. Alright, so then the next thing that happens in number order, players get to place their henchmen, and it's the same abilities that I just spoke about. If this player... Now you can't place your villain or henchman where another player has already placed their villain or henchman. So he couldn't place his henchman here or here. He has to choose another open space or a space on his board if available. So all the players will do that, turn order, place their henchman then. So if he placed his here, then that allows him to place oh, sorry, that's the wrong color. An agent there, and then he can place an agent in 3, 7, or 8. So maybe he places one in 8. And so forth. So then the other players would place their henchmen. Then you check for area majority. So you start from left to right. You just check who has the most agents in each region. You don't count the villain or henchman markers at this point, just the player that has the most agents in that region. Whoever has the most agents in that region takes the majority token for that region. So in this case, the blue player has the most agents in region 2, so they would take the 2 majority token. And then they also get the bonus shown in this section. This bonus lets you move one of your agents from anywhere on the board to any other region on the board, which can, since that's the first region that's resolved, that can swing maybe the way some of the other regions are going to be resolved. But whoever has the majority in region 2 takes the region 2 majority token and then gets the bonus of being able to move one of their agents from any region on the board to any other region on the board. Then you'd move on to region 3. Whoever had the most agents there would get the bonus shown here of 2 gold. And they would get the region 3 majority marker in their play area. In this case it would be blue as well. And you do that for each region. The bonus for this region is 2 intel. The majority bonus for this region is you get to move up 1 on the SPECTRE track. The majority bonus for this region is you get to take 1 resource of your choice. The majority bonus for this region is 2 intel. And the majority bonus for this region is you get to move 3 of your agents from any space on the board, or spaces on the board, to any other regions on the board. They don't have to come from the same region or move to the same region. Alright, so after you've finished determining the majorities and handing out... Now if there's a tie, I should have mentioned that, if there's a tie for the most agents in a region, then nobody gets that majority, and the majority token just stays to the side of the board, or goes back to the side of the board if a different player had it from the previous round. Alright, after you've determined majorities, got your majority bonuses, you go on to resolve the mission card. So first you check if the mission immediately fails. So if it has an objective, like this one, it was just to have agents in any region on the board. So the only way this one would just automatically fail is if no player had placed any agents on the board. But the other ones, like I showed you, like if it just showed a specific region there, like region 4, when you go to resolve the mission card, if there were no agents in region 4, then the mission would automatically fail and all the players would suffer the penalty there. But if the objective doesn't automatically fail because whatever the objective there has been met, then you go on to the bidding phase. So just meeting the objective doesn't necessarily make the mission successful. You have to meet the objective, then players have to at least bid at least one token of the type shown. Now this one, it can be any type, but some may specify a type like just gold or whatever. So at least one token of that type has to be bid. And all missions have a mission threshold that's dependent on the number of players. So in a 3-player game like we're playing, a mission threshold is 8 mission points. In a 2-player game, that's 6 mission points, and in a 4-player game, it's 10 mission points. So how do we determine the mission points? Well, that depends on how many agents are in the specified objective location, if it has a region there. Now this one, the first one, it's all regions on the board, so all agents that are on the board would count toward 1 mission point. So in this case, we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we would only be 1 point away from being able to call this mission successful if there was at least 1 token bid, and each token that is bid is worth 1 mission point. So all of that can sound a little confusing. Just remember, you have to meet whatever the objective is, and then depending on their number of players, you have to have meet the mission threshold with the number of mission points. So for instance, if this was one that had a number 4 in here, so that would mean somebody would have had to have at least 1 agent in number 4 to meet the objective, and then only the agents in the number 4 region would count toward the mission threshold of 8 for a 3-player game. So if there was like 3 agents in number 4, then that would count 3 points toward the mission threshold of 8. So then you would know at least 8 tokens would need to be bid in the bidding in order to make the mission successful. So let's talk about the bidding. We'll see how that works a little more when we're going through the example turns. I know it can be a little confusing. So let's talk about the bidding. So when you're resolving the mission cards, as long as you didn't automatically fail the objective, then you move on to the bidding. Now this one, as we talked about earlier, since the objective is just to have agents in regions on the board, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we know for the mission to be successful, since we need the mission threshold is 8 in a 3-player game, we only need 1 token bid. So players could only just bid 1 token. As long as at least 1 player bid 1 token, then the mission would be successful. But the reason a player may want to bid more than 1 token is because the player who has the most mission points at the end of a successful mission will get to move up 1 on the SPECTRE track, and they will have the ability to resolve one of their secret plans. So we'll talk about that here in a minute. Let's just go back to the bidding now. So when players are going to bid, they're going to take their resources into their hand. They'll put the number of resources they want to bid into one of their hands. Once all players have their hands extended with resources in them, then they'll reveal, and that's the number of resources that that player is going to bid. And those bid resources do go back to the supply. So in this example, we'll say, Blofeld bid 1 resource, Rosa Klebb bid 2 gold resources, and Silva didn't have any resources, so he bid 0. If everybody had revealed no resources in their hand, everybody bid 0, then the mission would have failed for 2 reasons. Number 1, at least 1 token has to be bid for the mission to be successful, and also without at least one token being bid, we would only have 7 mission points, so we would not meet the threshold of 8 mission points in a 3-player game, so the mission would fail. If a mission fails, again, all the players suffer this penalty. In this case, it's remove 1 agent from each villain for every region. That's a one-time effect. There are some mission failures that are in effect for the entire next round. For example, if a mission failed and it had this, name plaque abilities don't apply, that would mean that for the next round of the game, the name plaque abilities don't apply. Let's look at these name plaque abilities real quick. The ability for number 2 is they take 1 resource at the start of the turn after the mission card is read. We didn't actually do that when I read that mission card, but the player that's number 2 would, after the mission card was read at the first step of the game, they would get to take 1 resource of their choice. The ability for number 3 here is after bidding, they get to take back 2 of the resources that they bid. So if Silva here had bid, say 3 resources after the bidding, he wouldn't lose all 3. He would get to take back 2 of them. But that 1 failure we saw would mean those special abilities would not be in effect for the next round. Number 1's ability is he can re-roll 1 007 die. We haven't gotten to the point where we're rolling those yet, so we'll talk about that here in a minute. So now we'll get back to the bidding. So we know that Blofeld bid 1 blueprint and Rosa Klebb bid 2 gold. So at least 3 resources would bid. So we did meet the mission threshold because we got 7 for agents on the board plus the 3 resources that were bid, which ends up with 10, and the mission threshold for a 3-player game is 8. So this mission is successful. So the first thing that happens if a mission is successful, all players that bid at least 1 token get to take a secret plan and put it into their play area. If you didn't bid any, like Raul Silva here, you don't get to take the secret plan. Then the player who contributed the most mission points to the mission wins the mission, and they get to advance 1 space on the SPECTRE track, and they get to complete a secret plan if they're able to. So if we were looking here, who contributed the most? So the mission points came from having any agents on the board. So blue had 1, 2, 3, and then he bid 1 token. So for each token that you bid counts as a mission point. So he had a total of 4 mission points. Now green only had 1 agent on the board, and they bid 2 tokens. So that gives them a total of 3 mission points. Red has 3 agents on the board, but they bid no tokens. So that gives them a total of 3 mission points. So the player who wins the mission with the most mission points would be number 1 here, who had 4 mission points. And again, these tokens that were bid would go back to the supply. But number 1, having contributed the most mission points, would get to advance 1 on the SPECTRE track. And then they would also get the opportunity to complete one of their secret objectives if they, or their secret plans if they can. So let's look at a secret plan cards. So this secret plan card, if he wanted to complete this one, he would have to have the number 5 majority token, which he doesn't. He only had majority in 2 or 3. And he would also have to have at least 2 agents in Region 6. So he wouldn't be able to complete this secret plan, so he would just have to keep that hidden. And this one, he would have to have the majority in Region 4, which he does not. And he would also have to have 1 scheme token, which he does not have. The scheme tokens that are still covering your schemes Though you can't use those for these, but when you spend resource to unlock a scheme, then you keep that token there, and then that can be spent to use for these secret plan cards. So if he did have majority in Region 4 and he had unlocked at least one scheme, he could spend that token and then complete that secret mission or secret plan. In this case, he wouldn't be able to complete either of his secret plans. Now, if you can complete one, then you get to move up this number of spaces on the SPECTRE track. So if he was able to complete this one, he would get to move up an additional 3 spaces on the SPECTRE track. There's two sections on here, green or red. If your plan had previously been revealed, and that can happen if, we haven't gotten to this yet, but if Bond comes to visit you or some other effect makes you reveal one of your secret plans, you still keep it in your play area, but if it's revealed and you get to complete that plan, you only get to move up the number of spaces in the red section, not in the green section. So you only get to move up the number of spaces in the green sections if your plan had not previously been revealed. All right. But as we said, he wouldn't be able to, Blofeld wouldn't be able to complete either one of these secret plans, so he would just keep them hidden. He wouldn't have them revealed. And we would go on to the next step. And again, if you win the mission, you only get to complete one of your secret plans. Even if you've got the ability to complete more than one, you can only complete one. All right, so after you resolve the mission and do all those steps we just talked about, you go to the next thing where the number 1 player rolls the 007 dice. So the Blofeld player here is the number 1 player, so they would roll the 2 007 dice. And if you get 2, gun barrel 007 results like that, if the 007 token was previously in a region, and we'll talk about that, how that could happen here in a minute, it would just come off the board, and then each player would have to remove one of their agents from each region. If you rolled a 2 like this, then the 007 token would go into region 2, and all agent tokens in that region would be removed and given back to their respective players, but they would all be removed from the region. And in the next round, no villains, henchmen, or agents could be placed in that region. Similarly, if you rolled a 3, then the 007 token would go into region 3, and all agents would be removed from there. And in the next round, no villains, agents, or henchmen could be placed in that region. So that's the same thing if you roll a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, using numbers. Now, if you roll the gun barrel token and a number 2, then that doesn't automatically place the 007 token in the number 2. Instead, the player who is number 2, in this case Rosa Klebb, would get to send 007 to visit one of the other players. So for instance, she would take the token and have it go visit Raul Silva. Raul Silva then has to take one of his scheme tokens and a scheme token of his choice and flip it over, and that has a +2 with the resource symbol on it there. So what happens now is if he wants to, in the future, unlock this scheme, he has to pay the cost in resources shown here, plus 2 additional resources of any type. So it increases the cost to unlock some of these schemes. So when you send Bond to a player's board, it increases the cost for them to unlock the scheme. And because Bond is visiting them, of course, they're a Bond villain, they start talking about their secret plans, so they have to reveal one of their secret plans. So that's what we talked about earlier, that if you ever complete a secret plan that's previously been revealed, you get the number in red. You get to move up the number in red instead of the number in green. But that player then that had 007 visit them, then gets to choose a region to place the 007 token in, and of course all agents in that region would be removed and go back to their owning players, and in the next round no agents or villains or henchmen could be placed in that region. Alright, after the 007 roll is complete and resolved, then players would take their tokens or their henchmen and the villain tokens back into their play area. Then you reassign the plaques based on where people are on the SPECTRE track. So if, for example, it was like this, where red was further along, red would then take the number 1 plaque. Green would keep the number 2 plaque because they're in second place, and furthest back is blue, so then they would take the number 3 plaque. And then you'd start a new round with the number 1 drawing the next mission card. Alright, let's talk about winning the game. The game ends when the last mission is drawn and completed. So at the end of the round, after you've gone through all the steps with your last mission, then you get to the end game. So when you're doing the end game steps, you go in plaque order. So starting with number 1, the number 1 player can look at all of their uncompleted mission cards and attempt to resolve them if they can. So after number 1 does that, then number 2 would do that, and then number 3. And so finally, once players have resolved any of their secret plans that they can, again in turn order, plaque order, then at that point, whoever is furthest along on the SPECTRE track would win the game. In the case of a tie, the player whose token, if a player was already here and then this player moved here and their token was on top, then the player whose token is on top would win in the case of a tie. I want to mention a little bit about these red spaces on the SPECTRE track. So as you're moving along the SPECTRE track, if you move onto or past, when you're moving, if you move onto or past one of these red spaces, you get to immediately resolve one of your villain board spaces. Now you can't resolve any that are still locked, but you could resolve any spaces, either these spaces or any unlocked spaces that allows you to place a villain or a henchman. You can immediately resolve that, even if it already has a villain or henchman already on it. One other benefit of these red spaces is some mission failures. The penalty is to move back on the SPECTRE track, but if you were in one of the spaces, one of the red spaces, then you don't have to move back if that's a penalty for a mission failure. And one other thing, when you're doing the end game and you're at the end of the game and you're resolving your secret plan, any secret plans that you're able to resolve, if you move on to or past a red space at that time, you do not get to resolve any spaces on your villain board. That's only when you're doing that before the end game phase. So I think that covers most anything. I should mention there is another way for the game to end besides going through all the missions. One of the villain Emilio Largo, if he ever unlocks the last space on his villain board here, you'll see it says advance 4 spaces on the SPECTRE track and end the game. So then you would go to the end game phase immediately if that happened. Now, all the villains that I have out here, you'll see they don't have any arrows between their schemes, so those schemes can be unlocked in any order. But you'll notice that Emilio Largo here, he has these arrows in between his schemes, so he has to do those in order. He's got to unlock this one before he can unlock this one, before he can unlock this one, and before he can... So these have to be done in order, and the other villain Aristotle Christatos has the same thing where this one has to be unlocked before this one, which has to be unlocked before this one. Now there's no arrow going to this one, so this one can be unlocked at any point. And as I just wanted to mention one other thing, as we kind of showed earlier, all the villains kind of have their own special ability, as seen up here, which we saw like at the start of the game. Rosa Krebs gets 2 secret plans, and when she places her villain pawn in region 8, she gets to deploy 1 extra agent in that region. Blofeld, he always starts as number 1. Now in the going rounds after that, it goes by who's further along on the SPECTRE track. It's only starting the game he starts out as number 1. And then he also has where he can use any resources in his bidding when he's resolving missions. And we'll look at Raul Silva's as well. He only starts the game with 10 agents. When a mission fails, he gets to advance 2 spaces on the SPECTRE track. So it looks like Raul, maybe he wants missions to fail. And also when 007 lands on a region where he has any agents, he gets to gain the region bonus of that region. So, all right, I think that pretty much covers the rules. I'm going to set everything back up to how we were right after setup, and we'll go through an example round or 2. All right, I think I've got everything set back up to it how it was right after we did setup. So we'll go ahead and start with our number 1, which is Blofeld. So first thing we do, as we saw before, is we reveal the first mission card, which, as always, is on Her Majesty's Secret Service. And we know that this one, the objective is just for any player to have agents in any region on the board. So Blofeld will take their first turn, because we go to step 2, which was in order each player places their villain pawn. So he'll take his villain pawn, and he's going to place it here at the River Nile. So he'll get to put an agent there at the River Nile, and he'll get 2 gold. So we'll take the 2 gold, put that in his play area. Now number 2, oh, we forgot. At the start of the turn, after the mission card is read, number 2 gets to take a 1 resource of their choice, and we'll just say they're going to take an intel. Okay, all right. They get to place their villain. So let's look at what they'll secretly look at what they're going to need. They need to have majority in region 2 or hold no majorities. I think they're going to try to get the one where they have majority in region 2, so they're going to place their villain there. They get to place an agent there, and they also get 2 blueprints. So they'll take that, put it in their play area. And now we go on to number 3. Let's look at what Silva's secret plan is. He needs to have majority in region 4. So he's probably going to go there. He's going to place his villain in region 4. He gets to place an agent there. Oh, sorry, the wrong spot. He gets to place an agent there, and then he gets to, if he had a resource, he could pay it to move up 1 on the SPECTRE track. Unfortunately, he has no resource. All right, next we come to the next turn sequence where players will place their henchmen. So Blofeld, being number 1, will place their henchman first, and I think he's going to place his henchman here at the Archangel facility. He gets to place 1 of his agents, and he gets to take 2 intel. So he'll take that, put it in his play area. And now we come to number 2, which is Rosa Klebb. So she's going to place her henchman in the volcano lair. She gets to put 1 of her agents there, and then she can place another one in 4, 6, or 7. So I think she will place she'll place 1 in 4 just to kind of mess with Silva from having a majority there. Alright, next Silva gets to place their henchman, and I think he wants to get some resources maybe, so he's going to look and see, and really the only place he can get a resource is here. Well, no, there's not really any place that he can get a resource, so he's just going to come here. He's going to go to 3, That lets him put an agent there, and then he can place one in 3, 7, or 8. So because Rosa Klebb messed with his majority here, he's going to place one in 7 to mess with her majority there. Alright, that completes placing all the henchmen, so now we go to checking for majorities, starting in Region 2 and moving on over. So always first start with Region 2. Rosa Klebb has the majority there, as she's the only one with agents. So she gets to take the majority token for Region 2, and she gets the bonus where she can move an agent from any region to any other region. And I think she's going to move this over to Region 6. Alright, now we start with Region 3. That's Raul Silva. He's got the majority there because he's the only one there. So he gets to take the number 3 majority token. And he gets the bonus of 2 gold resources. So he'll take those. Alright, next we come to Region 4. It's a tie for majority there, so nobody gets it. Alright, next we come to Region 5. The majority there is Blofeld, so he'll get the number 5 majority token. And he gets the bonus of moving up 1 on the SPECTRE track. Alright, next we come to Region 6. That is Rosa Klebb that now has the majority there, as she's the only one with an agent, so she gets the bonus of any 1 resource. She will take a blueprint. Come to Region 7. That's a tie, so nobody gets that. Oh, I forgot Rosa Klebb should get the 6 majority token. Nobody gets the 7, and Blofeld gets has majority in Region 8, so he will get that token, and then he can move up to 3 of his agents to any other regions in the board, but he's not going to. Alright, we finished checking the majorities. Now we resolve the mission card. So first the objective just was for players to have agents in any regions in the board, which they do, so that's met, so it doesn't automatically fail. But now we have to have a bid. We know we have to have a total of 8 mission points to complete this mission, make it successful. Since the objective is to have agents on the board, we just total all the agents on the board. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if at least 1 token is bid, then this is complete, because we already have the total mission points required, but at least 1 token also has to be bid as well. And remember, players will want to try to have contributed the most mission points to the mission so that they get to advance on the SPECTRE track and try to resolve one of their secret plans if possible. Alright, so all the players will now take their resources into their hand and hold out and reveal whatever they want to bid. We'll say Blofeld, he's going to put in his hand, and when it came to the reveal, he would reveal these 2. We'll say that Rosa Klebb shows and reveals these 2, and Raul Silva, he bids both and reveals these 2. So everybody bid 2. So now we see who contributed the most mission points. Well, Blofeld contributed 1, 2, plus the 2 he bid for a total of 4. Rosa Klebb bid contributed 1, 2, 3, plus the 2 she bid for a total of 5. And Silva contributed 1, 2, 3, plus the 2 he bid for a total of 5. So Rosa Klebb and Raul Silva will tie for the most mission points. If there's a tie for the most mission points, then both players get to advance on the SPECTRE track, and both players have the opportunity to complete a secret plan. The one lowest in the hierarchy advances first, and then the one who's higher up amongst the tied players. Alright, so the first thing that happens is, because the mission was successful, everybody that bid gets to draw a secret plan. So all of them get to draw a new secret plan because the mission was successful and they all bid. Now Rosa Klebb and Raul Silva tied, so they both get to advance on the SPECTRE track, but because Silva is lower in the hierarchy, he's number 3, he has to advance first, and then Rosicleb will advance second. So, all right, so all of that is done, and now because Raul Silva and then Rosicleb tied for the most mission points, they also get the opportunity to resolve a secret plan if they can. Before we do that, let me go ahead and put these bid tokens away. Now, Raul Silva bid these 2, but he has the power that he gets to recover 2 of his bid resources, so he just takes those back into his hand. But, okay, now they get to see if they can resolve any of their, or one of their secret plans. Rosicleb can complete this one because she has a majority in Region 2, so she'll spend that token to meet that, and then she just has to spend 3 resources. Oh, she doesn't have 3 resources, so no, unfortunately she cannot complete any of her secret plans because this one requires 3 resources, and this one says hold no majorities, and she holds 1 majority there, so unfortunately she can't complete any. Let's look at Raul Silva. Let's see, he's got this one to spend 3 resources. Well, he's only got 2, so he can't do that. And he's got this one to hold majority in Region 4, but he didn't because he was tied. So neither one of them can complete a secret plan. Now we go ahead and roll the, whoever's number 1 will roll the bond dice. So that's the Blofeld player. He'll roll those dice. He got the 2 007 symbols, so that just keeps the 007 chip off the board. But we do have to remove 1 of each player's agents from each region, so that's going to take care of that one, and this one, and this one, and this one's going to go back, so this one's going to go back. These 2 are going to go back, so they're pretty much losing all their agents in every region because we have to remove 1 of each players from each region. Alright, but Bond doesn't go on the board anywhere. Alright, and finally we change name plaques based on the SPECTRE track. So on top is Rosicleb, green, so she'll become the new number 1. In the middle, number 2 will be Raul Silva, and Blofeld, being on the bottom, will get number 3. Alright, we'll do one more round. Alright, so Rosicleb is number 1 now, so she'll reveal the next mission card and read it out loud. Diamonds are forever, steal diamonds. The objective is for there to be agents in Region 6, and you'll also be able to bid with any resources. If we fail, 007 gets to roll twice on the roll the dice portion of the round. Alright, number 2 has their ability, which they can take 1 resource at the start of the turn after the mission card is read. So we'll just say they're going to take an intel. And now we start in hierarchy order, placing our, oh, we forgot to retrieve our villains and henchmen at the end of the round last time, so let me do that. Alright, so now we start by placing our villains. Rosicleb's number 1, so she'll place her villain first, and she is going to come to number 8, so she gets to put an agent there and take 2 intel resources. Alright, number 2 is second. That's Silva. He will place his villain. Well, he's going to come to number 4. No. Gosh, I don't know. I don't know where he wants to go. He's going to come to number 2. And he gets to place 1 of his agents there. And he gets to take 2 blueprints, put them in his play area. Well, Blofeld says, well, we know we need to have some agents in number 6, so I'm going to go there. So he places his villain. That's going to place an agent, and then he can put one in 2, 3, or 4. So I think he's going to put one in 4. Alright, now we have to place our henchman, and just to show something different here, we'll have Rosa Klebb. She's going to place her henchman on her finalize so she can spend resources to unlock one. So we'll have her unlock this one. She's got to spend 2 intel and 1 blueprint. So she's got 2 intel and 1 blueprint she's going to spend. She's going to unlock this. So she just keeps this token here in case she has to spend that for a secret plan later. This is an instant, so this happens immediately. Reveal 2 secret plans of each other player. So both these other players have to reveal their secret plans. So if they do ever get to complete them, since these are revealed, they move up the track according to the red value instead of the green value. So both of them have to reveal 2 secret plans, which that just happens to be how many they both have. And Rosa Klebb also knows what they might be going for. Alright, number 2 now places their henchman. So we'll say that Raul Silva, he's going to place his here at the volcano layer, so he gets to place an agent, and then he can place another one in 4, 6, or 7. He's going to place it in 6. And now we come to Blofeld has to place his henchman. He's going to place his here on racket, and every other player gives 1 resource of their choice. So this player only has 1 resource, so they will give that one. Now Raul Silva has several to give, so maybe he thinks he's just going to give a gold. Alright. Alright, all the henchmen have been placed, so now we go to checking the majority. So for Region 2, Silva has the majority for that, so he'll get the Region 2 token. And he also gets the bonus where he can move one of his agents to any other area. So I think he's going to move this one here, so he'll have the majority in 3, which is the one we're checking next. So he has the majority in 3, so he gets the 3 token, which he actually already has, and he gets the bonus there of 2 gold. So he will take those. Alright, we go on to Region 4. Ernst Stavro Blofeld has the majority there, so he'll get the 4 token. I'll come over here, and he gets 2 blueprints for that majority bonus. Nobody has the majority in 5, so nobody gets to go up on the track. In 6, nobody has the majority because blue and red are tied, so nobody gets 6, so actually that one goes back to the side of the board. 7, Silva has the majority there. He's the only one with an agent, so he gets the 7 majority token. And he also gets 2 intel. So he's piling up the resources here. And in 8, green does have the majority there. So they get the 8 token, which will come back over here to them. Blue has to put this 5 majority back because they didn't have the majority there. And let's see, 8. Oh, and now they have the ability where they can move up to 3 of their agents anywhere, from anywhere to anywhere on the board. They've only got 1 agent on the board, so they're not going to bother with that. Okay, now we resolve the mission card. So first we check, is there any agents in Region 6? If not, this mission automatically fails. But yes, we do have 2 agents in Region 6. Alright, so it doesn't automatically fail. Now we go on to see what's required. Remember, we need 8 mission points because there's only 2 agents in here currently. That only counts toward 2 of those mission points, so we still need 6 more mission points. So in the bid, at least 6 resources are going to have to be bid, or this mission is going to fail. And it can be resources of any type, as seen here. Again, sometimes it's a specific type of resource that can be bid, but this one shows any type. So Blofeld decides that he's going to take his tokens into his hand and hold out, and we'll say he reveals that he bid these two. Unfortunately, Rosa Klebb doesn't have any tokens or any resources that they can bid. And Silva, because he has this ability, when a mission fails, he advances 2 on the SPECTRE track. He doesn't really want the mission to succeed anyway, so he reveals that he bid nothing as well. So both Klebb and Silva bid nothing. Blofeld bid 2, but the mission is going to fail because we only had 2 mission points from agents and then 2 from his bid. That makes a total of 4. The other players didn't bid anything, so that's only 4 mission points. We need 8, so the mission is going to fail, so we'll end up rolling the 007 dice twice. Now Blofeld, because he has the number 3, he has the power where he recovers 2 of his bid resources, so he's just going to get those back. Alright, because the mission failed, nobody gets to draw a secret plan card, nobody gets the chance to complete one of their secret plans, but Silva does get his ability. When a mission fails, you advance 2 spaces on the SPECTRE track, so he gets to advance 2, 1, 2 on the SPECTRE track. He passed a red, so he could immediately resolve one of his unlocked abilities, so he could do this one if he wants to. So we'll say he's going to do the finalize ability, which lets him spend resources to do a scheme. So he's going to do this, pay 2 gold, 1 intel, and 1 blueprint. So 2 gold, 1 intel, and 1 blueprint. And now he's unlocked this scheme, and he'll be able to use those spaces in the future. Alright, we've resolved the mission card. Now number 1, who is the Rosa Klebb player, rolls the bond dice. She got an 8. Now she does have the ability where she could re-roll one of them if she wants to, so she's going to use that. She's going to re-roll one of these 4s. She got a 3, so that's going to be a 7. So bond will go to 7. This guy will have to remove his agent, and he can go ahead and take his henchman back. And now no players would be able to go in Region 7. But our penalty was to roll the 007 dice twice, so now number 1's going to have to roll those dice again. And this time we got the bond gun barrel symbol and a 4. So if we were playing a 4-player game, the number 4 player would get to choose a player that they want to send bond to visit and cause them to flip one of their scheme tokens over. But because we're not playing in a 4-player game, so when you're playing a 3-player game and the 4 comes up like that, then number 1 gets to decide who the bond token goes to visit. So he sends bond to visit Raul Silva, who then has to flip over one of his scheme tokens to make it cost more. So we'll say he chooses this one, so that will cost him not only 1 gold and 1 intel, but another 2 resources. And if he had any unrevealed secret plans, he would have to reveal one. Okay, but now he gets to decide what region of the board to place the bond token in. So he wants to kind of get back at green for sending that to him, so he's going to place the bond token in Region 8. So he'll have to remove, or all agents that were there would have to get removed, but green Rosa Klebb's the only one that has one there. Alright, so that completes that. Now we reassign the name plaques. So Silva is furthest ahead, so Silva will be number 1 for this next round, so he gets the number 1 plaque. Number 2 is still is going to be Rosa Klebb, and number 3 remains Blofeld, as he's on the bottom of the stack here. And now players would recover their pawns, their villain and henchman pawns. And we would now start a new round. Now in this round, nobody can place their villain or henchman or agents in Region 8 because 007 is there. We would start the next round. Silva, being number 1, would reveal the next mission card. We'll just look at, we're not going to do the next round, but we'll just see what the mission would have been. This is one, and I'll just explain this real quick. I think when going over the rules, I mentioned that if this symbol is on the objective, one of the players, in order for this mission to not automatically fail, one of their players will have to place their villain here on this card. They don't get anything for it other than that helps to make the count toward making the mission successful. It won't automatically fail. And they'll have the player that places their villain there, that counts towards 3 mission points for this mission. So all the other mission points would have to be made up in bids by gold. So that at least 5 gold would have to be bid in order to complete this mission. And if nobody places their villain on this card, then this mission would automatically fail. But anyway, that's all I'm going to show. That's all I'm going to show. I'm going to wrap it up. I will just say the rule book for this game is terrible. I mean, if I got any rules wrong in this rules explanation, it is because the rule book is terrible. I mean, some stuff is just not in there. Stuff is all over the place. So, yeah. Well, maybe not the worst rule book, but you know, it's up there for one of the worst rule books that I've seen for a game that should be fairly simple. As far as how I like the game, I don't know. You know, I played it one time. Solo is 3 players, and you know, since the rules were kind of confusing to me, and you know, I was kind of having to look on Board Game Geek forums to try to, you know, figure some stuff out. I'll just say I did not have fun on my one play by myself. I won't say it may not be fun to play with other players once you know the rules. It could be, but my one playthrough by myself, trying to, you know, figure out the rules, I did not have too much fun. So I'm going to put a question mark on this game. You know, I'd like to play it with some other players before I make a final judgment on it. But anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.